Hello friends and YouTube chess lovers, welcome to another video of the Mysterious Night. In this video, we are going to analyze Gukesh's iconic game against Fabiano Caruana, where in the consecutive two chess Olympiads, Gukesh have beaten Fabiano Caruana in two consecutive matches. In 2022, where the Olympiad was held in Chennai, there also Gukesh beat Caruana in the crucial game, and here in the Budapest in the 2024, Gukesh again beats Caruana. So Gukesh brings double trouble for Fabiano Caruana, and let's get started with the match. Here, Gukesh was playing with the white pieces, and it was a crucial round against USA, where Gukesh started to play with d4. After d4, Caruana replied with the Indian defense, c4, e6, all this is standard stuff, and here Gukesh plays Catalan. It's a close Catalan variation with the g3. Now after g3, Caruana played d5, bishop to g2, knight to c6, and knight to f3. Rook to b8, and then after c crosses d5 and bishop to b4, check the intermezzo check. And here on the move 6 itself, it's a completely new game. After bishop to b4 check, knight to c3, pawn crosses d5, bishop to g5, h6, bishop takes on f6, queen takes on f6, castles, bishop to c3, pawn to c3, castles. Here in this position, it's a completely equalized. Black has developed nicely. So knight is out, bishop is looking with a nice diagonal. Both the rooks are active, about to get connected, and queen is already out on the f6 square. This is a completely equal position as per the evaluation. And after this, basically here, if there is anybody which is who can push, which is white, who can push for any of the advantage, and obviously Gukesh does so. He starts with knight to d2, knight to e7 was played, and then e3, bishop to e6, queen to a4, a6, saving the pawn, and here Gukesh pushes the pawn in the center. So the idea here is, after pushing to a4, if the black captures here, the idea is to centralize the knight and put pressure on the queen. But here, obviously, Fabiano Caruana, being the player that he is, he doesn't fall to such situations, and he pushes c5. After c5, queen played to a3, putting pressure on this particular pawn, as well as in the future looking for this knight on the nice diagonal. After this, Gukesh played, after this, Fabiano played b6, and then rook a to b1 played, putting pressure on the b6 pawn. So Fabiano responds with rook f to e8, and then d crosses at c5, d4 was played here. Here the idea was, Fabiano Caruana's idea was, if pawn captures, then already queen captures, nicely centralizing the queen, putting pressure on the knight, and it was all good for Fabiano Caruana. But this doesn't happen, and Gukesh pushes on c4. This is one of the critical moment of the match. And after queen to g5, rook f to d1, supporting the knight, and then pawn takes on c5. So here already Fabiano Caruana is having a weakness on c5 square, which will be exploited in further moves. f4 played by the Gukesh, and this move already asks queen a question that where she wants to go. And here queen to h5 played, and then f5 push comes here. So here putting pressure on bishop, and after this rook to b1, and then queen to e2 comes in, putting pressure on the knight. And then Gukesh reply with pawn takes on e6, and then queen captures the knight, and obviously here the pawn captures pawn, giving up the check. Nice intermezzo, winning up a pawn for in the return of the pawn. So king captures, and then after this queen to c5, king to g8, rook to f1, king to h7, queen to e5, nicely centralizing the queen. After queen to f5 here, after the post-match interview, Caruana said that queen to e5 was considered to be one of the dominating move for white, although the computer states it's completely equal, but it's extremely difficult to play in the practical terms, where queen to e5 centralizes the queen nicely, and the piece coordination is so good for white here. Black is definitely going to have problems in the future for playing it practically. After this move, queen to e3 check was tried, and after king moves to h1, d3 was played by Caruana. Here also it is completely equal till this point, where Caruana pushes d3. After bishop to h3, d2 was played, putting further pressure. Now black is threatening queen to e1, and then winning up the another queen, or let's say rook for free. But here Gukesh has different plans. So Gukesh plays bishop to g4, stopping, controlling the d1 square as well as e2 square. And if here, let's say, if black plays queen to e1, that's already a big blunder, because here simply king to g2 wins the total game, because queening square is protected. Queen cannot take rook. Here if queen takes rook, then also the queening square is protected nicely by the bishop. So this was a fantastic move. After this move, Caruana tried with queen to d3, centralizing the queen, putting pressure on the rook. But this is not going to work, as Gukesh replied with king to g2, queen crosses c4, and then a4 was played. Here, taking on a4 as well as avoiding, both were okay moves, but Caruana chooses the different move, and then queen to d4, centralizing the queen, putting pressure on the pawn. And here, in this position, I would want you guys to pause the video and find the best move that is there, the only move, in fact, that is there for the black in this position. Okay, so I hope that you found this move, which is knight to knight to g6, because if you play what Caruana played in the match, that is queen to j6, this is absolute a blunder, because here queen is looking to put pressure on this bishop, but after rook moves to f4, this is not going to work, because this move completely protects the bishop, as well as there is no positional advantage for this queen, and white pieces are completely dominating in the center. After this, queen to g5 was played, which was again an inaccuracy, and h4 was pushed, asking question to the queen where she wants to go. Queen to g6, queen cross d2, rook to b8, queen to d7, and in this position it's completely winning for white. It is already showing 3+3 advantage in terms of white. h5 was tried to put some pressure on the bishop, but bishop to e6, very important move. And after this, rook to b6 was played. Here in this position, I would like you to pause the video and again find the only move that white has to keep the advantage going and completely seal the deal. Well, I'll give you a couple of seconds. You can pause the video and think. Okay, so I'm sure you would have found this move, that is bishop to f7, bam, putting pressure on the queen, as well as bishop is completely protected. The knight is under attack. So black tries to save the knight, as well as try to exchange the queen, but after queen takes, rook takes, and then bishop takes this pawn. This is completely winning for white. The white is 2 pawn up, and it is showing +4 advantage in terms of winning. After a few moves like knight to e6, bishop to e2, pawn to a5, bishop to b5, knight to e5, rook to f5, rook to e6, saving up the knight and centralizing the king with king f2. And in this position, Caruana resigned the game. So this was second consecutive win in the Chess Olympiads for Gukesh against Caruana, and Gukesh in his absolute best form. We wish him all the luck for the upcoming World Championship. Hope you like this video. Feel free to comment and share, and also don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.